Hello and welcome. So this is a Ford key, the new shape one, right? So I'm trying to reconstruct a barrel for it. Very simple. This one in particular is for the bonnet lock. What you can use this method to do on any other one, but like I said, this one is particularly for the bonnet lock. Now on the old ones you could actually read the teeth on the key, so you knew which one goes where. On this one you don't, so all you can do is try and error. Now you will find pieces, two sets. One of them has a beak like this, pointing towards the left, and the other one is pointing towards the right, as so. So that's what you need to group them by. You get them from 1 to 5 pointing right, and 11 to 15 pointing left. So you only need one each because the first thing you want to do is find out the teeth. I suggest you get a piece of paper and write this down, because it's going to be a little bit easier. Alright, so the way I do it, on one side of the barrel you got these round holes are for the springs. Right, so I start with a 6 on one top, 4 on the bottom. I start with a 6. So get yourself a little spring. These are rather fiddly, so be careful. Right, and now just put a key in. The only thing you need to remember is the side with the code on it. So this is a number 5. So this side with the code must always be towards the key. This is the only thing you need to remember, right? And now this little beak needs to sit on the spring. So I need a piece that has like this. So this is a number 1, for example, and I needed to slot it in and see if it works. Now the idea is if this is the right piece, it has to be flush like this. None of the ends must stick out. Okay, so put it in, hold it in, because the spring is going to push it out. Get your key in and then just wiggle the piece until it gets in. Now, as you can see, it sticks out, so that is not the right key. Pull it out, put it back in the pile, and try another one. This is number 2. Drop number 2. So this is number 2 again. Put it on the same. Code towards the key. That little beak needs to stay on the spring, and it bounces up and down. Now when you get your key in, there you go, perfectly flush. Right? Now let's try the next one. I'll pull this out so I don't lose it. Write that down so you know which one it is. Now I need one that the beak is pointing the other way around. So you see, they alternate, one side each. Get another spring, put it in, get your next piece, drop it again. This is a 13, for example. I'm just gonna slide that in, get your key in, make sure it goes all the way, and there you go, it's flush. So that's a 13. Now I've done this already, I know which key goes where, but I just wanted to show you the way my method works. Okay, now what I've done, now ignore the talent in drawing. I've made a scene, right? So this is my barrel and this is my code. On the 6 spring side, I've got spring number 6, key number 2. Spring number 5, key number 13. Spring number 3, no, that's number 4, sorry. Key number 2. Spring number 3, key number 14, and so on, right? Then on the other side you got only 4 springs, but it's the same principle. spring number 4, I get key 11. Spring number 3, I get key number 3. Spring number 2, I get key number 14. Spring number 1, I get key number 5. Basically, this is just so I can remember the way it goes back together. Right, so writing down the code of the key is going to take you the longest. But like I said, once you fill up the slots with grease, just like I said, do one by one. You fill up the slots with grease, put the springs in, put your keys in, and the good part is if you put grease in like this, then it will keep your slots from falling down after you finish, because it acts like a glue, right? If you don't want to do it this way, put one side in and then get a piece of sticky tape over, and then when you flip it up, that side won't fall out. So I've just filled these up, and now it's time to try it for the first time. What you need to do is just squish it down with your fingers like this, get your key in, let it slide all the way, and then it should be perfectly flush, all of them. Like I said, none of them is allowed to stick out any little bit. If one of them sticks out, then you've done something wrong. Right? So just give it plenty of grease, hold your finger on it, work the key up a little bit. Don't bother too much at this stage, because you'll put it in the other sleeve and then you'll be able to work the pins out. Right? So that's all nice, and my pins are all nice and flush. I'll give it a bit of a wipe so you can see it clearly. I've got plenty of grease in it, so I'm gonna put more. Right, so everything is nice and flush. See, everything is perfect. That's the way it's supposed to be. Now you have put the key code in properly. All right, and I'm gonna grease it up again a little bit. I'm gonna pour some in here. King is lube, remember. Lube is king, remember. There you go. Now this goes in like that, as I showed you. They need to match up like this, right? And this is the moment when you can pull your key out. Before this, if you pull your key out, all of them clips are gonna fall off, right? With the grease, they might stick, but without the grease, the springs will just shoot them up. So once you get it in and it's in position, you can pull your key out. Well, you should at least. Now this needs to line up, as you can see on the back. When you pull the key out, all them little pins are being pushed out by their springs, and they lock up inside these two ridges here. Right now that stops turning because the keys hold each other up. That's how it's supposed to be. Now put your key to the side. Next part is to install the barrel, which goes in. You have this little slot up here, right? Them are aligned, they need to slide in. So okay, before I do that, just for my own peace of mind, I'm gonna give it a bit of grease. Because moisture is the thing that kills these the most, and especially this one, because it gets used very little. You may only use it 10 times a year maybe. So, right, and then the little airplane needs to go in. Like I said, the head of the airplane needs to be out, the wings of the airplane needs to be pointing downwards. I won't lie, it's a little tricky. You need quite a steady hand. Use yourself some flat nose pliers, some pinchers, whatever you get. Right, so the airplane's in. head of the airplane, the cockpit's out, wings are pointing downwards. And then this piece goes in. Now this needs to stay out towards the outside, and that the cockpit of the airplane needs to go in this slot here. So it goes in like that. As you can see, everything is nice and flush. That's there, cockpit's in there somewhere. Alright. Again, I'm gonna make sure it has a bit of lube on it, because this is all be spinning at all times. So you don't need to worry. That piece of plastic shouldn't fall out, and it most likely won't fall out, even if you put lube on it. Like I said, donut side outwards, needs to be rather centered as much as you can. It's only one way in, and then this goes in like this. These still need to fit on the sides like this. It won't fit any other way. And then when you press it in, goes click, and that's it. Then when you put your key in, oh, I forgot. Yes. Right, so I forgot something. Now, no tragedy. Just get it back in. I've rehearsed this assembly a few times before I filmed it, and I still forgot stuff. Now, if you make the same mistake I did, don't panic. Just get your little airplane, put it in position, as so, and then gently slide it downwards, and it should fit back where it's supposed to. Now, to stop me making that mistake again, get these two pins, and they're like a safety. Just get them in there. You may need to press them in a little bit. That's not a problem. I'll just get a little bit of lube in it just to help it go in. I don't want that hole full of lube. And then just press it in. And then it goes in as so. You got two of them. Right, just press the pin in as much as you can. It doesn't have to go out the other way, it just has to stay there. See? Invisible. Do the same thing again on the other side. A little bit of lube to help it in. Get your pin. Needs to slot in the same way. Press it down. Like I said, that bit of lube won't cause it to fall off, so have no worries about it. It's still a tight fit, because it's not a cylinder, it's a sheet of metal just rolled up, so it still has a gap on top. As it goes in, it tightens more, so it's not going to fall out. Right. And there's your built barrel. Now for the test of all tests. Put your key in. Hey presto. And it works. Alright. Happy days. Now, if you want, you can use the rest of your lube. Just let it have it, basically. I don't think, in this case at least, there's such a thing as too much lube. Get it in there. You can wipe your key at any point. You don't have to bother, you don't have to worry about it. Alright. Everything inside is already full of lube from when we assembled it. That's smooth as you can get. Okay, now after you've done this, you get that. Now this is fairly straightforward. Got a big hole there and a big cover there, right? They need to line up. Like I said, this is a bonnet lock, but the inside of the key code works the same on every single Ford with this model of a key, right? Now this has a push in. This is the clip that holds it. On the sides there will slot in there. You can see the wires inside. If I make a little bit of effort and pull that out, you'll see how it locks and releases. So to get it in, straightforward, just click it in. If you want to pull it out, just pull these pins apart and the thing comes out. And from here on, I have to build the rest of the bonnet lock. But like I said, all I wanted to show you is how the code works.